I think I think before the war, I don't even know. I can't remember the book I must have read, but somebody called Amelia Earhart, who was a woman aviator, very prominent. I think I'm right in saying she disappeared. Her plane disappeared somewhere over the sea. I don't. I think it may have been over the Atlantic. I'm not honestly sure. And we read about things like that. Her plane, I believe, was never discovered. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think it was. So we kind of think that any real mysteries in aviation
Yeah,
would long since have happened. That, you know, with the developing technology of flight and so on, things become more reliable. But you go back, I don't know, 50 years or more, when it was in the earlier days of flights, then you could sort of understand stuff going missing like that. But
yeah,
to have MH370, I think it was in 2014,
it was. Yeah,
and it was actually, I remember the dates, the 8th of March, because it was the day before my birthday, so it sort of sticks in the memory. But it just disappeared. It was Malaysian Airlines, wasn't it? And
it
it
was. Yeah,
disappeared on a flight I think to Beijing. But strangely, they tracked it so that it turned left instead of going straight on up. So there was talk of a possible, it had been taken over by terrorists or things like that, but nothing was ever really proven. And a number of companies have come into the scene over the last 11 years now, saying we can find it. We've got the equipment to trace and track this aeroplane. And it seems they've never done it. At the same time, I mean, the poor relatives over the years, they've requested, resumption of the searches, and lots of searches have been done in collaboration with the Australian government, which because they thought it could have gone down that way or down in the Indian Ocean. So lots of people have looked, but in a sense, I read a very good book about it actually 2 or 3 years ago by a French lady whose name I can't remember at the moment. And it was fascinating to read the research she had done, whereby bits of the 777 aeroplane had washed up on the shores of an island, I believe, called Reunion,
yeah. I remember.
somewhere near Mauritius. As far as I remember, it was confirmed to be a piece of the wing, probably a flap from the from the aeroplane, the MH370. And you'd have thought that in itself, the fact they could have perhaps calculated where that may have washed up, computers could have looked and seen the currents and so on, but it never did lead to them. And I think there's other bits of stuff have been found on shores and so on, which may not have been actually authenticated. But there's something odd about it. There's something
Okay.
odd about that. And maybe there would be because it's never been solved as a problem.
Mm.
But this is, of course, that in itself gives rise to the conspiracy theory, doesn't it? People think, oh, well, there's something's being hidden here. But I have to say, when we can all be traced by our mobile phone, which we got in our pocket, and they can see exactly where we've gone, exactly where we are, not to mention all the CCTV and stuff. But if we ping electrical signals from our phones, which we do,
Yeah.
then how the hell they could lose a giant 777 airliner
Yeah.
is beyond understanding. It really
Mm.
is. In this day and age, the Earth has become so much smaller, not just by huge aeroplanes making ever quicker journeys, but by technology. We're talking about
Mm.
mobile phones and other things. The Earth is so much smaller, and everything really is traceable. Things. The Earth is so much smaller, and everything really is traceable. There's not many places left on this Earth where an aeroplane could fly and could be permanently lost. And that in itself may give rise to people saying, I smell something funny in this. Now, I'm not saying that, I felt for some years that eventually we wake up one day and they say, "Oh, the plane's been found. The remains are under the sea or they're on land, whatever." But it's never happened, and
No,
that in itself makes you wonder, doesn't it?
it does. It does. Yeah. Right. Another one is I know we've got a topic for today. I was just thinking, see what we can do to finish off this conspiracy theory thing before
Yeah,
we then.
yeah.
But another
Well,
one
we can
is
always carry we can always carry forward till next week the stuff
absolutely,
we were going to do
absolutely,
today.
absolutely. Now another one is, bro, Elvis Presley. People,
Yeah.
there are people that still believe he's still alive.
Well, he is. I mean, he works in my local chip shop. Reference to a great song as well, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
Great.
and
You know that
why?
song?
One of Elvis, you mean?
No, it's there's a guy who works down the chip shop, swears he's Elvis, and it was Kirsty McCall who sadly died. She was a very good singer. She did Fairy Tale of New York with Shane
Right.
MacGowan, the Christmas song, and she died actually some years ago. She was on holiday with her two sons somewhere in the Med or somewhere, and a speedboat was out of control coming towards her and her boys in the water, so she pushed them out the way but was hit and she died. Anyway, that's going off subject, a very sad end, but it was a great song she made. There's a guy who works down the chip shop, swears he's Elvis. You want to listen to it if you have not heard it. Great
All
song.
right. I am going to listen to it. Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
listen to it now. Yeah, because I think Elvis is, well, if not one of the most talented singers this world has ever seen, or privileged to have. He is such a good songwriter and a great singer as well, and a brilliant performer. So I can sort of see why people find it hard to let go of that is actually past. But yeah, I actually, one of his songs that I really liked is "In the Ghetto." Beautiful, beautiful song.
Super song.
Yeah, and then
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he was a songwriter. He probably did write songs. I'm not.